Good morning. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today on such short notice. We are gathered here today so we could give you an update on the superintendent search. I do have just a brief statement for you. 8 months ago, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education embarked upon the process of selecting its next superintendent. Last fall, the board selected ProAct Search to be our partner in this process. With their help, this board has shaped a process that will bring excellent candidates to this community. This effort began last fall with a series of stakeholder activities designed to define the type of leader that this community desired to take CMS to the next level. These activities included a community survey that boasted over 9,300 responses and a series of community forums. At our board retreat in late January, this vision was crystallized in the form of a position profile that was used by ProAct Search to conduct an extensive national search. CMS's position profile indicated that this community wanted a leader who would rebuild trust in public education and the district as a whole, a change agent who would provide educational excellence for all children, someone who would work to increase morale among teachers and non-instructional staff, and someone who would bolster academic gains, increase the graduation rate, and much more. Selecting a superintendent is perhaps the single most important decision that a Board of Education will ever make. It is a decision that has the distinct ability to shape a community and young minds for years to come. It is a weighty decision that requires due diligence, dialogue, and a dedication to ensuring a bright future for the nearly 140,000 students served by Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools each year. Today, this community is one step closer to hiring its next superintendent. During our closed session meeting, this body voted unanimously to authorize our general counsel to extend an offer and to negotiate a contract with Dr. Heath Morrison to become the next CMS superintendent. My colleagues and I would like to thank this community for participating in last week's Meet the Candidates activities. Your involvement is the hallmark of the care, concern, and passion that this community continues to have for public education in Mecklenburg County. I would like to thank our staff, particularly our communications department, for the on-the-ground logistics that they provided in making last week's events flow smoothly. Finally, I would like to say thank you to my colleagues for trusting the process. Thank you for being here today, and we'll take just a few questions. Ms. Helms.
Why did you choose him?
We felt that he brought a certain charisma, a certain energy, a level of academic excellence that this district really needed to move forward. We're in the process of negotiating the contract, so that will be a part of the package of information that our general counsel will work towards. Typically, state contracts start on July 1st, but obviously we want to execute that contract prior to that date to have everything in order.
Is he currently in town here? What's time his schedule? Is he visiting anytime soon today?
He is not in town today, but we hope to have him in town shortly for additional visits.
What separated him from the final candidate? You said it was unanimous, so what separated him from the final candidate?
I would say the things that I've mentioned before in terms of just being an educational leader, having the energy, just the level of homework and due diligence he provided on our district, and thinking about what we need as we go forward relative to Common Core and the rigor that that creates in terms of what's needed in terms of the Race to the Top initiative. All of those things in its totality, we felt that he had the ability to lead the district towards those items, but also to help us to rebuild the trust that is needed in this community, and also to help us bolster morale with our staff team.
Yeah, and speaking of
We are in the beginning stages of that process. I would imagine that we would come away with a mutually agreed upon contract. Our general counsel is in that process currently.
Has he made a comment yet about this?
I am not aware of that, Boland. Do you have a press pass these days?
Speaking of teacher morale, how do you go forward when one teacher organization went for cash and the other teacher organization went Clark. So how do you continue to build teacher morale when none of the teachers union with Morrison?
Well, I think looking at the feedback that we had and the information that we had as a body, we felt that there was a broad range of support for Dr. Morrison, and we felt that he would be the best selection for this district. And I would have no doubt that our teachers and our principals will rally around him once he's on the ground.
Have you spoken to Ms. Clark? What is her role in the future?
I have spoken with Ms. Clark, and we have talked about the utmost respect that we have for her as an educational professional, and we hope that she will remain in the district.
Did she give an indication what her future plans would be?
She indicated that she has a loyalty to CMS. One more question, and then we'll wrap up. Ms. Helms?
What did Dr. Cash tell you about why he withdrew from the race?
He had a consideration with his family, and it was a family decision.
Do you have any expectations for the first year, first month, first whatever for Mr. Morrison? How do you look at it?
We have significant expectations for Dr. Morrison as he comes in. We have an onboarding plan that we'll be working with him to put in place, and we'll communicate that out to the public as those details become readily available.
Did you talk about pay range? I know when the council is talking, is there a range in pay that you're talking about with Morrison?
I'm sorry, I've exceeded my questions. I was only going to do one more, and I've done 3, so it's time for us to wrap up.
You stop with me.
I was going to stop with Alan. He just got it in there so quickly. I want to thank...
I'd like to hear the answer to that.
Our general counsel is in the process of negotiating. There is a range that has been put forth, but he is in the process of negotiating.
Can you just say when and if he'll start making, Mr. Morrison will make any weigh-ins? I know there's still budget questions out there. There are still other decisions to be made. When does he start weighing in on those?
Once we have a contract in place, we can make those details known. Thank you all for coming out today. We really appreciate it.